having that struggle has helped me to appreciate cycling even more, because there are times when I want to ride my bike and I can't physically do it. My name is Monica Garrison, and I'm the founder of Black Girls Do Bike. I also work as a full-time photographer and videographer. We have currently 100 Black Girls Do Bike chapters worldwide. It's very humbling. I never thought we would get to this point, but I should. I mean, we put in a lot of work. It's been 8 years. There's no reason we shouldn't see the growth that we're seeing, but it is still surprising to see it and to know that, you know, this was just an idea at some point and it's turned into people physically making changes in their lives and connecting. So in 8 years, I have learned that all it takes is a little spark to make a difference. I have learned that women can hold a very positive and powerful space for other women. I have learned that my time is important and valuable. I have learned that my initial hypothesis was right, which is that riding a bike is an extremely positive experience and can change lives. And I have learned that self-care is a necessity, that you have to work at it, but that it can happen and it is extremely important. I have learned that Black girls do ride bikes. Not only do they ride bikes, they hike and they surf and they travel and they do all the things that bring joy to their souls. So I keep up with the chapters by being connected digitally. I'm in all of the Black Girls Do Bike groups on Facebook and also Instagram. And that's just my way of kind of keeping a pulse on what's happening on the ground. You know, I don't micromanage it. I leave that up to the Sheroes to handle their local chapters, but I do feel it's important to, you know, be involved and be there for people who have questions. Just to have a presence in the chapters, I think is important. Sheroes really are the backbone of Black Girls Do Bike. From the moment that we started adding chapters, those chapters were led by Sheroes. And they are the ladies who set the goals, you know, create the events. They network with local bike shops and bike ped organizations. They keep me informed as to what's going on. And most importantly, they lead rides, at least one monthly ride, but a lot of times many more than that. The Sheroes really are everything. Without our Sheroes, we wouldn't be able to keep making progress and keep affecting lives. As I said, the Sheroes are at the heart of the organization. So anytime we make a partnership with a sponsor or an organization, the first question for me to them is, well, how's this going to benefit our Sheroes? Whether that be discounts on items and gear or programs that they can connect to throughout, you know, these networks. Even the kind of nuts and bolts of it, which is we have a drop box where all our Sheroes can hop in there and grab graphics that they can use on their events. So not only are we, you know, showing a unified front, but we you know, they have the resources they need to create things around Black Girls Do Bike. It seems like a lot of work because it is, though I wouldn't call it all work. I mean, it's fun and work kind of mixed together. It's definitely a balancing act. I mean, I am a mother as well, so my kids take priority. I have my photography business, so that takes priority. just to kind of give you an idea of what I do, so I am the sole voice of all of our social media. So our Twitter account, our Instagram account, our Facebook account. And then I also, any sort of media request to speak about the organization, I have to generally step up and take care of that. Though I have help, I have Sheroes that do that as well. And then on the back end, our shop, our amazing shop, I handle everything on the back end. So every item that has ever been shipped out from Black Girls Who Bike, the shop, at some point was touched by these hands. So it's a labor of love, and I keep doing it because I enjoy it and because it makes a difference. I consider myself a recreational cyclist, meaning, cycling is usually what I do on the weekends or after work. I ride a lot with my kids. I always have, and I will continue to do that because it's one of the most enjoyable activities that we do together. And also, in Pittsburgh, our winters are pretty long and harsh. Essentially it's winter time from October to March here. So as soon as, we get longer days of daylight and sunshine, hopping on the bike is one of the main things I like to do. And I love trails. So give me a nice, smooth, long trail, and I'm happy. Bike Girl Magic, in my mind, is the essence of Black Girls Do Bike. It's the attitude behind Black Girls Do Bike, right? Because in my mind, it's always been that no matter at what point you are in your cycling journey, it's powerful. It's a powerful place to be, whether you're just starting or whether you're conquering miles that you didn't think you could. It's a powerful place. So Bike Girl Magic is it's that essence of power that we all have, and it manifests itself in different ways. So we recently launched our Bike Girl Magic cycling guide, and I think it was time for this guide because on the back end I get a lot of questions from new cyclists. So every day, new women are discovering Black Girls Do Bike. And when they do discover, they're like, oh my goodness, this is the answer to my prayers, right? And I have all these questions. And some ladies aren't connected to a chapter. They may live in an area where there's no local chapter. So they come to us as a resource to ask those questions. So Bike Girl Magic, the essential beginner cycling guide, was a way for me to take the knowledge that I've gained over these 7 years. Because when I started riding, I had all these questions myself. So I created the guide as like a one-stop shop to get all those questions answered. So if you are new or returning to cycling, we could kind of fill in those gaps and give you the resource that you need to, go from there. So within Black Girls Do Bike, we have women that gravitate to lots of different types of cycling. We recently, through our partnership with USA Cycling, have been able to start to work through a process where we can create a Black Girls Do Bike cycling team. And I think this is necessary because these women exist. I don't want to put anybody in a box. And I think within Black Girls Do Bike, not everyone, but I think we have an elite group of women who are athletes and who are competitive and who love Black Girls Do Bike and who want to be associated with the Black Girls Do Bike brand. So for me, it makes sense to have a race team to give these women the resources they need through organizations like USA Cycling and some of our other partners to be a part of something larger. So during COVID, Black Girls Do Bike did have to pivot because if you think back to March, April of 2020, things were uncertain. We didn't know completely how the virus spread. We didn't know how contagious it was. We didn't know what activities were safe to do in groups. So we made the tough decision in late March, I believe, to stop all group rides for Black Girls Do Bike. And we did, like many organizations did, we shifted to an online format. So we started the We've Got Your Back virtual rides, which it was a combination of things. There were some yoga classes, there was some meditation, there were some instructor-led riding. We had an instructor overseas who set up weekly with us to lead a ride and train, basically, so that ladies could stay active, not knowing how long we were going to be indoors and how long we were going to be on this revised version of what exercising was. So we did that, and throughout the summer, some folks felt comfortable congregating in smaller groups and riding, and I know other riding groups continue to ride. So as we learned more, I think folks were able to get outdoors and ride a little bit more. I think, especially in 2020, the subjects of diversity and inclusion, not just in cycling, but in all things, right, was kind of pushed to the forefront. And I would say that Black Girls Do Bike was involved in that conversation, especially in the cycling world. There were a ton of companies who reached out to us just to kind of gauge, how we were feeling and what, if any, effect they could have on the outcome of things, and to seek our opinion on things. And that was helpful. It's funny because we had a lot of partners before 2020 who have been supporting us along the way and, taking care of our needs, and who put diversity and inclusion at the forefront of our relationships. And so it was important to me to continue those partnerships, but in a way that we were given even more access to the companies and their mission, and helping them kind of formulate their vision going forward in this new world that we find ourselves in. So with over 100 chapters, there are tons of examples of ladies who are kind of living our mission, from day to day. I think the ladies are coming up with strategies to grow their chapters in ways that I couldn't even have thought of. So I don't even feel much like I'm leading the way. I feel like they're leading the way. So that always amazes me, the ingenuity they use to get ladies engaged and to get people excited about our mission. So it's tough to think where Black Girls Do Bike will be in 5 years or 7 years or 10 years. And the reason it's tough is because our history has been that we grow organically. And by organically, I mean, I don't know what next year looks like. I tap into my resources and my ladies, and we kind of figure out a path. So in recent years, I've had my own struggles with chronic illness, and it's given me a greater appreciation for the women in our organization who are struggling internally, but they look fine on the outside. And just ladies in general, this is a common theme. So when I talk about the power of cycling, that's what I think of. I think of people who are struggling with other things, whether it be career, whether it be illness, whether it be an abusive home, and they find that getting on the bike is the only way that they can escape and clear their mind and find solace. Because there are times when I want to ride my bike and I can't physically do it. And that is disheartening to me, and that's upsetting to me. My saving grace has been that I discovered e-bikes in the last few years. So I have an e-bike in my garage that on those days when I don't physically feel like riding, I can still get on my bike and I can still ride. I can still, feel the wind on my cheeks and see the birds and appreciate all the things that bring me joy. So e-bikes are bikes. And if that's the tool you need to use to get outdoors and get on your bike, then use it.